remember I said that they're also going to build up more security in Cleveland, and I think it was about a week ago I did a video. It showed the maps of where the road closures and things like that are, and the concerns of the protesters, anti-Trump, pro-Trump, protesters, guys, but mostly the anti-Trump protesters that are being bussed in, paid, come off Craigslist, have no clue what's going on. Most of them are college dropout libtards, to be honest with you. If you hear any of the interviews, they're as dumb as dirt. It's pathetic what they, I guess, Common Core has brought the education level to in this nation. It's unbelievable. Let me read this. It says, the police massacre in Dallas has forced the Cleveland Police Department to finally respond to the threat posed by increasingly violent left-wing protests around the country ahead of the Republican National Convention. Cleveland Police Chief Ed Toomba said that law enforcement would make changes to the security plan for the RNC. Toomba also emailed other law enforcement agencies to reassure them that officers would be safe. We have got to make some changes without a doubt, the chief said. He said, I wrote an email reassuring them, the other agencies, that we are prepared and to let them know we cannot pull the plan off without them. So they're talking about multiple stages. You're going to have Homeland Security. You're going to have Secret Service, I'm sure, FBI, National Guard. Remember the heading of the video. The lead page on the PDF that had the maps in it, it showed all the agencies involved. The, I guess, Coast Guard, everyone was involved. They've got them pulled in everywhere. And there's concern because of the Dallas thing about this security here. Again, puppet masters pulling strings. Now, the president of the Cleveland, Ohio Police Union has warned that the cops and convention goers are sitting ducks at the 2016 Republican National Convention. The city of Cleveland is ill-equipped to handle the thousands of professional leftists. Did you hear what he said? Black Lives Matter and other protesters. And there's just under a month to go before the convention. Now, after today, we'll have 8 days. But on the 16th, they start closing streets down in the area. Tens of thousands of truckers, bikers, Trump supporters, and convention delegates are expected to pour into the city during the convention. Now, the president of the Cleveland Police Patrolmen's Association, his name is Steve Loomis, is saying that Cleveland city officials are still refusing to heed, some arrogantly so, the recommendations of federal security officials. This is even though the city has procured insurance, as reported, to cover the anticipated large-scale rioting. Now, Steve is saying that the mayor of Cleveland just does not get it. He adds that command staff has arrogantly dismissed concerns of officials from FEMA and other agencies. The city of Cleveland has asked officers from across the country to help provide security. However, Loomis says he has massive concerns about the safety and security of both his rank-and-file officers and officers coming from other cities. He said, I wouldn't hold it against them if they decided to pull out. And he even throws one in on the city officials there. He said they just take. But for now, just pretend for a moment that they really care about the police officers. That's a pretty harsh statement. They're saying that dozens of organizations, ranging from groups for and against the candidacy of Donald Trump, plus local social justice organizations, oh my God, and anti-abortion groups, the One Campaign, an AIDS healthcare organization based in L.A., the Funny or Die comedy group, the white supremacists from California have applied for demonstration or parade permits or announced plans to be in Cleveland without official permission. City and federal officials have said they cannot guarantee they will be unable to keep apart groups that may be at odds with one another. Playing into this race war is what this is going to happen, guys, and it's a political race war. And it's a racist war being created by these people pulling the strings. They're the racists. Now, it's not just the police union that's saying this. The U.S. Secret Service agent Ronald R. Rowe, he's the RNC coordinator for the event, stated during a City of Cleveland briefing in late May that the GOP convention has been designated by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security as a national special security event. The agent called the convention a very complex event that would have to be dealt with through a collaborative effort. Guys, the convention is stupid. That's the kindest word I can say for it, but because the people have voted once, we're going to vote again in November, and the delegates are set there to let the puppet masters put who they choose in. Except this election has been such a groundswell that they haven't been able to do what they wanted to do yet. So they will resort to killing hundreds and thousands to achieve their goals. And the people on the ground killing one another are at the bottom of the puppet string, the very bottom. And they'll be the first ones to go. Have no clue what they're doing. Be aware, don't be what's called a zipper head, to where someone can walk up, unzip your head, put any thought into it, or you see any news event, and they zip it back up, and then you're like a robot. Think for yourself. Also, Michael McGrath, who is the safety director for the City of Cleveland, said the city was going to partner with the U.S. Department of Justice. He stated that the city had received a national special security event, like I talked about, and the city will have to account for how it spends this money. He added the Secret Service was acting as the lead agency to develop a security plan. The police union president said the city officials, are ignoring these experts. Who's paying who? According to the DHS FEMA website, when an event is designated this National Special Security Event, or NSSE, the Secret Service develops a core strategy to carry out its security operations, but it relies heavily on its established partnerships with law enforcement and public safety officials, but that the officials are still ignoring the experts. Now, the union chief there, Loomis, said he was concerned about the number of uniformed officers to cover the convention. He added that the officers were upset because they were told at the last minute they could not take a vacation before, during, or after the convention. He said it had caused problems such as officers that already paid for airfare, vacations, and things like that. And he noted that the city had 2 years to plan, but charges that it is not complying with FEMA's directive for 4,000 uniformed officers. He said the city is saying they will have plainclothes cops in the crowd, and he said they're doing that to hide the lack of manpower. He goes on to say, whether they be Black Lives Matter, or they're for Hillary, or Bernie supporters, or anarchists, he's worried about the thousands of protesters. He said the RNC events are harder to police because of the protesters who come in. He contrasted Democratic national conventions, protesters saying they're much easier to deal with. Guys, the Democratic protesters are the ones coming in here creating a lot of these problems. The convention is scheduled to begin Monday with the meetings of platform and rules committees. Kicking off in full on July 18th, the Cleveland PD and coordinating law enforcement agencies have little time to adjust to these new rules. They changed them. I think this may be the third time. With just a few days, that's a good way to create chaos, even among these agencies. If you keep changing the rules to the last minute, no one's prepared. Not really. But again, the conventions should be outlawed, and you don't have this problem. And delegates should be outlawed. It should be votes. And again, many times, and I've heard it in every video, your vote doesn't count. That's such a loser's attitude, especially now in this election, because we have to do something. You've seen in the last 2 weeks what we're rapidly turning to. The lies, and much worse, as we see in Dallas. Get out and vote. I don't care who you vote for, but vote. But I know that 99% of America right now would not vote for Hillary. I know that. I've seen the real polls. I've seen the comments. I've seen the attitudes, not just YouTube, across social media, no matter where you look. It's about Trump. And every time you see something on the news about Hillary, she's losing votes. And they're in a panic. They're in a panic. But these conventions, especially the Republican, because Republicans have better things to do than pay a bunch of libtard college students and dropouts to go over and harass Hillary. Hillary doesn't have enough people even at her rallies to start a fight. Okay? And at the Democratic National Convention, there'll be a lot of people there. A bunch of sheep. It's going to be the greatest sheep herding event in the history of the nation. Please don't be a part of that. Please wake up and see what's going on. If you think you're part of a privileged few that get these bunch back in office for 4 to 8 more years, you think you're privileged? Look at what they do to the people as they turn against them. No lives matter to these people. No lives matter. So heads up, be safe, guys.